Storms are approaching, pushing this week's pleasant weather eastward. The U.S. Capitol is increasing manpower and security as conspiracy theories also increase, and millions of Americans will not be included in this round of stimulus checks. Find out why. This is OU Nightly. Hello, thanks for joining us for OU Nightly. I'm Deyton.
And I'm Emma Sears. Washington, D.C. law enforcement are on high alert for the next few days. The FBI and the Department of Homeland Security are following threats after seeing chatter from extremist groups.
Skylar Tallal is live in Washington with details. Skylar.
Thanks, guys. The U.S. Capitol Police are saying threats to not only breach the Capitol, but to remove Democratic lawmakers will continue for the next few weeks. Law enforcement are also increasing manpower, along with adding additional barriers to make sure an attack on the Capitol doesn't happen again. Officials did not identify the militia group responsible for these threats in their statements, but many believe QAnon's conspiracy that former President Donald Trump will be inaugurated today is what's prompting these security concerns. Additional details were not released due to the sensitive nature of the information. However, law enforcement is saying they are taking this intelligence very seriously, and they're working with local, state, and federal partners to make sure an attack on the Capitol doesn't happen. Reporting live from D.C., Skylar Tallal.
Thank you, Skylar. More big news from Washington, D.C. as the Senate begins to work on changes to the new stimulus package. Lauren Johnson has that story and the rest of today's headlines from around the world from the News Center. Lauren?
Thanks, Emma. The Senate is now negotiating changes to the large COVID-19 relief package that passed the House last week. This bill has not been released yet, but it's expected to change in a few ways. For one thing, a new cutoff for who gets the $1,400 stimulus check. Families making more than $160,000 a year or single people making more than $80,000 a year would get reduced amount. Once Senate passes this bill, it will go back to the House and then it'll be on the president's desk. Some states are trying to pass new bills to change elections and voting access after the 2020 election. Now, the Democratic-led House approved a new bill to counter those Republican efforts. This new bill is said to expand voting access and improve accountability and transparency in Washington. However, Republicans argue that it limits political speech. And parts of New Zealand is being evacuated and heading to higher ground. There has been a few large earthquakes, with the largest at a magnitude of 8.1, sparking a fear of a tsunami. These earthquakes have triggered a tsunami watch for Hawaii as well. New Zealand's emergency management is encouraging citizens to evacuate immediately, and Mikayla Smith will have more information on why this is such a big deal later in weather. The winter storm left Texans without power for days, and now the CEO in charge of overseeing the state's power grid has been fired. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Lauren. The University of Oklahoma Board of Regents met today for the first day of their March session, with plans to discuss the future of freshman housing. The board will vote to select an architectural firm to review and develop the OU Freshman Housing Master Plan and Replacement Project. The firm would be responsible for verifying cost estimates and potential freshman housing configurations. The OU Board of Regents will vote on the details of the housing plan and other agenda items in their meetings today and tomorrow.
The Board of Regents is also voting to approve changes with OU's fundraising. The university looks to move all fundraising and university advancement under the OU Foundation name. If approved, 60 state employees would become foundation employees. The plan includes hiring University of Purdue's former Research Foundation Vice President Amy Noah as the foundation's new Vice President and Chief Advancement Officer. This move would also limit the public's access to review the OU advancement efforts, which had controversy under President Gallagher in 2019.
The Office of Diversity Enrichment Programs is now holding in-person tours for in-state and out-of-state high school students. Black high school students from Oklahoma City, Dallas, and Houston came to campus for a visit, giving them the opportunity to meet current Black students on campus and talk to academic and financial advisors. From fall 2019 to fall 2020, minority students' retention rate either dropped or stagnated, and the percentage of Native American students on campus dropped by 8% alone. The in-person experience benefits diverse and first-generation students.
I think that we see first-generation students coming to campus, it really does help them kind of take off that ease and kind of see like, okay, this is what I'm doing it for. This is where I'll be, next fall, if I continue to do the hard work that I'm doing right now.
American Indian Visitation Day, a full day of activities for prospective Native American students, is tomorrow, and in-person events and tours will continue through the end of the semester.
And if you're fired up for the long weekend, you may want to think twice about sitting on the patio at the Mont.
That's right, the swirls may just have to wait. Mikayla Smith is outside right now. Mikayla, can we expect this weather to stick around?
Yeah, guys, it's been beautiful out here today. You can see there's some clouds that are starting to form behind me, and that's with a cold front that is going to be moving into our state later on this evening. Now, with it, it's going to bring some showers and some thunderstorms. Now, we're not expecting anything too severe with these storms, and the majority of it is going to stay to the west of us. The SPC released an outlook that's only a marginal risk, so again, we're not expecting anything too severe. Maybe some small hail and some strong winds with these storms. We will want to keep an eye on it just in case they get worse. But again, we're not expecting anything too severe. Those are going to move through tonight and throughout the night. By tomorrow afternoon, we're going to clear up and start to dry up. It will be a bit chillier tomorrow than it was today because of that cold front that moves through. But going into this weekend, we are going to have a beautiful weekend. And then I can tell you more coming up about how next week is going to be absolutely perfect with this weather. Again, remember to make sure for those storms again tonight. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Mikayla. And for those that have received the COVID-19 vaccine, the CDC has some new guidelines for you.
That's right. The opportunity to visit your close friends and loved ones may be closer than it seems.
Also, the State Department of Education has announced the Oklahoma Teacher of the Year.
And the winner is near and dear to our community. Find out who straight ahead on OU Nightly. Welcome back to OU Nightly. COVID-19 cases are climbing in Oklahoma once again, even though the number of people being vaccinated is also increasing. The Oklahoma State Department of Health reports almost 900 new cases of COVID-19 today. They also report that there are over 12,000 active cases across the state, but 0 new deaths were reported, keeping the total for Oklahoma at 4,534.
A year after the pandemic began, it could soon be safe to visit your close friends and loved ones again. OU Nightly's Haley Weger has more about possible new CDC guidelines.
Masks, social distancing, and now a vaccine. Although the pandemic seemed never ending, we may be taking a small step back to normalcy.
We're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel that we're really hoping to get back to normal.
The CDC is set to release new guidelines on safe activities for people who have received both doses of the coronavirus vaccine. If you and a small group of people have been fully vaccinated, you can soon remove your mask and have a small social gathering inside. These new recommendations will mark the first time the government has signaled that we can begin taking small steps back into normal life, as well as the first time many people will be able to safely visit their close friends and loved ones. OUSGA has been meeting over Zoom since last year, and many members are missing the in-person meetings.
Personally, I would love for things to go back to normal and be fully in person at capacity because I learn better that way, but I also don't want to put other people at risk.
Studies show that one of the best ways to ensure you are not putting others at risk is to get the vaccine.
The vaccine is the ticket to normal. I'm hoping that students really want to line up and get vaccinated to prevent the spread of this disease.
The university is working to create sites on campus to allow students to receive the vaccine easily. Haley Weger, OU Nightly.
The new CDC guidelines for people who have been vaccinated are expected by the end of the week.
A Norman teacher takes home top honors as Oklahoma State Department of Education's 2021 Teacher of the Year. Jessica Eschbach is an innovative learning coach from Norman Public Schools, meaning she teaches technology integration for all grades. She's been teaching for 7 years, all in Norman, and has instructed several different subjects and grade levels.
I've been in awe of their passion and their talent and their love for their kids during this entire process, and I feel like I'm a better teacher because I've met them.
The award comes with $10,000 in cash and prizes, including the use of a car to tour the state as Oklahoma's next teacher ambassador.
The university is keeping its eye on a new trend of vandalism on campus. Find out more about what's happening and why the Energy Management Department has gotten involved.
And Mikayla, tell us more about what we can expect for weather this weekend.
Yeah, this weekend's going to be nice, but first we have to deal with tonight. We have some thunderstorms that might be entering our area, so I'll tell you when and where and how bad it's going to be coming up. Welcome back to OU Nightly. You can take a current look at our OKC skyline cam. We can see there are a few clouds that are starting to enter. So we had a nice, beautiful day here about in the 70s. So it's been nice and sunshine. Those winds have been coming out of the south and they've been keeping us nice and warm. Now, like I said, current temperatures across the state, we're in the 70s, 64 up in the Panhandle, where we are already starting to see those winds begin to shift with that cold front that is going to be working our way overnight. So we can see, again, those strong southerly winds. And then if we come out here, we can start to see where that cold front is working its way in. So those blue arrows are going to be our cold air, strong air that's going to move into our area overnight tonight. That's what's going to be bringing us our storms. See our current drought monitor, we can see some areas need to see that rain, and luckily that is where our rain is going to be. So our future radar, we can see here in Norman around 10 o'clock tonight is when we're going to start to see those storms. So they're going to line all the way up into Kansas. Some of these may be severe, not expecting anything too crazy, some small hail, strong winds. But again, 10 o'clock is when we're going to have that first round. It's going to push through into the overnight hours. Tomorrow morning, as you head out the door, you're going to want an umbrella because we still have this area of rain that it has to move this way. So before you walk outside, be prepared for that. That's going to move through our area tomorrow. It's going to push out. This isn't showing it right now, but it is going to push out by midday tomorrow. So we are going to start warming back up and clearing out for the day tomorrow. Now, with this, the SPC outlook is, again, West OKC, we have that marginal risk. So again, not anything too crazy. Here in Norman, we are only under the thunder. So we will have a thunderstorm or two, not anything too crazy for us currently here. This future radar, we can see some areas might get a nice soaking. So the areas that we needed to see rain, we'll be seeing that rain. Not too sure on how much rain we get here. These storms will be fast moving, so they're not going to linger too long. It'll rain and then go. But again, we can see that this is going to be our future radar. Now, with that cold front moving through, our lows tonight are going to be a bit chillier than we've been seeing the last few days, and our highs tomorrow are going to be a bit below average for this time of year because of that cold front moving through. Going on, we can see, again, rainy start tomorrow, much cooler. Then we're going to warm up as we go into this weekend, the rest of next week, we're going to be in the 60s, 70s Wednesday and Thursday, so nice sunshine, perfect times to get outdoors. Back to you guys.
Tornado sirens have become targets for a new wave of vandalism. The boxes of multiple sirens were found looted across the Norman area following last month's snowstorm. It's an illegal trend that David Grizzle of the Norman Emergency Management Department has started keeping a close eye on.
The first siren that got vandalized was probably in the worst part of the storm. The second one got vandalized, and I would probably assume it's by the same people. The second one got vandalized out of sheer knowing what was in there. I mean, those batteries that are in there are expensive, you know.
The Emergency Management Department recently received a report regarding of who could be responsible for the acts.
The future is looking bright for OKC Thunder as the team has gained some rising stars.
Myles Smith has the details on what we can expect to see from them coming up. Myles?
That's right. 2 Thunder players were named to this year's Rising Stars game, and it is going to be a non-stop event at the Lloyd Noble Center. Stay tuned for more. Hello, I'm Myles Smith, and it is time for your sports. After back-to-back Bedlam losses, the men's basketball team is back in action tonight as they host the number 16 ranked Texas Longhorns. The Red River Showdown is tonight at 8 p.m. at the Lloyd Noble Center. The Sooners look to eliminate their 3-game losing streak as they play at the Lloyd Noble Center for the last time this season.
Not much practice time for sure. So, and again, it's, like I say, it's not like you have to overhaul anything. It's a matter of just, okay, let's focus a little bit harder. Let's be a little bit more careful with the basketball. We don't have to be a high risk, high reward situation. It doesn't have to be a home run. You know, it just needs to be, let's compete, a couple more passes, get a little better shot, whatever the case might be.
And before the men tip off at the LNC, the women take the court first. That's right, ladies first, you know. The women's basketball team is on a 3-game winning streak, and they intend on keeping it going tonight when they host the TCU Horned Frogs tonight at 5 p.m. The teams played on each other 8 days ago, and the Sooners took the dub. The Sooners currently sit at 6th place in the Big 12 and have jumped 25 spots in the RPI rankings since last month. The men's baseball team has a busy next few days on the mound down in Frisco, Texas. The Sooners face the Arizona Wildcats twice, the Mizzou Tigers, and the Dallas Baptist University. The Sooners are sitting at 4-3 for the season so far. First pitch against Arizona was fired off today at 2. Right now, in the inning of the first inning, OU is up down to 3-6. Unfortunately, tomorrow will be the last meeting at home for the OU women's gymnastics team, and this year's senior gymnasts. The senior class will be recognized before the number 2 ranked Sooners face off against the number 2 11 Cougars. This will be OU's first ranked meet of the season. So far, the ladies are undefeated and slowly climbing up the rankings.
I mean, obviously, we're trying to get better. We certainly haven't had a meet yet. And by that, I mean a great meet on all 4 events. So we've had a meet where floor has been exceptional. We've had a meet where beam has been exceptional. We've had a meet where vault has been exceptional, but we haven't put it all together. I'm not surprised by that. I think our timing and our kind of the schedule to peak is a little different than it has been in years past.
Tonight, the Thunder is down in San Antonio to take on the Spurs. And even though there isn't a Rising Stars game due to COVID-19, the NBA announced this year's Rising Stars, and among these names are a few Thunder players. Yes, sir. That's right. Thunder guards Lou Dort and Teo Maledon have both secured their spots on the world team. After Dort going undrafted and Maledon getting drafted in the second round, this is a huge accomplishment for both players. Even though these 2 players are not traveling to Atlanta for the Rising Stars game, it's so great to see the Thunder players getting the recognition they deserve. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Myles. And I'm so tired of the ups and downs in the weather we've had these last few weeks. I'm ready for the summer, but more importantly, snow cones.
Same here, Deyton. It sounds like we are in luck, though, after snow cones may be available year-round. Find out more straight ahead on OU Nightly.
I'm Bailey Coyle at the OU Nightly Update Desk. A Dallas police officer was arrested this morning on 2 accounts of capital murder after a witness told him that he kidnapped and killed 2 people. The officer has been transported to the Dallas County Jail. The investigation remains ongoing. That's it for now. Back to you in the studio.
Snow cone stands could be open year-round. The Oklahoma House passed a bill to create multi-seasonal licensing for snow cone stands if they sell hot beverages during colder months.
The bill was requested by the Curbside Chronicle, an organization working to end homelessness in Oklahoma City. If passed, it will allow them to operate their businesses year-round and help their homeless employees earn enough money to get back on their feet.
And now let's get one last check on weather from Mikayla. There's a chance for storms tonight, right?
Yeah, guys, so we do have those chances for storms later on tonight. The main threat is going to be west of OKC, so again, not anything too crazy. Some small hail, some gusty winds. These storms are going to be pretty fast moving, so we're going to want to keep an eye on those because, like I said, they're going to be in and out, so we're going to want to make sure that we're watching those. But by tomorrow afternoon, we're going to be warming back up, clearing out. We're going to have a beautiful rest of next week starting off. It really is going to start feeling like spring. being able to start doing those outdoor activities. But now changing from here, I want to go international. New Zealand has had a bit of a day today. They've had 4 6.0 plus magnitude earthquakes. Now with this, they've evacuated the portion of northeastern New Zealand. They've had people leaving the docks and going out to sea to avoid some tsunamis. They're worried about that, and even all the way into Hawaii. You can see how far we're traveling. All the way over here, they're under a tsunami watch for Hawaii. So they're expecting the earliest wave, if it were to hit in Hawaii, at 4 p.m. Hawaii time, so that's about 9 p.m. here. So again, we're really watching that today. It's been a big story, international, and we've been praying for the people in New Zealand. Back to you guys.
Thank you for watching OU Nightly, brought to you by the Gaylord College of Journalism and Mass Communications.
There are no classes tomorrow, so OU Nightly returns Monday at 4:30. Join us then. Good night.